floating into nothingness, accidentally jumping on a high wire instead of chasing a thug, unexplained death, missing maps, entire game modes missing. The gaming industry has had its share of blunders and misfires. Even the most beloved games can suffer from the odd glitch. But when the mistake is big enough, it can cause a developer's entire launch to be considered a big fat fail. While the mistakes in this list weren't enough to take the wind out of the developer's sails, these 5 games all suffered from the dreaded game release mistakes. Here are the 6 biggest mistakes in video game launches. Red Dead Redemption. Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption is one of the best Western games ever released, but it was ripe with glitches when it first launched. From randomly teleporting to completely different locations to people flying like birds and players getting stuck in buildings, this game frustrated faithful players to no end when it was released in 2010. Beyond the frustration of gameplay issues, Red Dead Redemption had a flurry of multiplayer problems that included a ridiculous amount of lag, a complete inability to connect, headless characters, and a sketchy at best auto-aim. Although Rockstar released a flurry of patches, eventually it was just too much for the players and most of them moved on to other games. Battlefield 4. First-player shooters are some of the most popular games out there, and there were high hopes when Battlefield 4 was released back in 2013, but it didn't take long for players to start considering first-person shooting their PCs in frustration. While the gameplay was beautiful, it rarely ran smoothly. Crashes, game-save corruptions, the eternally frustrating red screen of death, they were all there. But possibly the biggest problem that Battlefield 4 suffered from affected the most important component of the game, the multiplayer, which was practically unplayable when the game launched. Add on to that issues with sound looping and flickering graphics, and Battlefield 4 has gone down in history as a complete botched release. In fact, many gamers feel that EA just launched the game before it was actually completed. Fallout New Vegas. For a game that received a Golden Joystick Award for RPG of the Year, you would think that this 2010 release would be a flawless wonder of modern gaming. You would be mistaken. From citizens vanishing into an abyss to sudden invincibility of your opponents that stopped you from finishing quests, there was actual excitement in the air upon release as fans actually started looking for the flurry of bugs just to share them. Have you ever played a game where the entire gameplay was blurry? Forever? No? You should try playing New Vegas on the PS3 just to knock that weird quirk off your bucket list. And when players weren't stuck in endless animation loops, Fallout New Vegas found other ways to stop players from saving their game progress. It got so bad on the Xbox 360 that the autosave feature had to be turned off to prevent it from corrupting the save. And on PC, the game became notorious for suddenly freezing. Assassin's Creed Unity. When a game is famous for parkour-style freerunning, and your opening sequence is freerunning, one would think that the freerunning would be intuitive, easy to handle, not prone to making your character dive off of roofs to his imminent death. But in Assassin's Creed Unity, you would be mistaken. When Ubisoft released Unity back in 2014, they failed to make the game even slightly playable, and made the issue even worse by making checkpoints ridiculously far apart. Combine impossible gameplay with one of the strangest glitches ever witnessed, and Unity became a showcase for how not to release a game. What's that weird glitch, you ask? It's called textures, and it's what makes the characters look so real. And when some of them don't load, you have a mix between zombie faces and floating eyeballs. The googly eyes and freaky teeth quickly became one of the internet's favorite memes, and there are literally thousands of images of these freaky characters all over the internet. Skyrim. When The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim was released in 2011, it was considered quite a hit. The game itself was enormous and could keep players on the hook for hundreds of hours. As with any game of that size, it's almost impossible to get rid of all the glitches before releasing it to the public. While simple glitches in the gameplay are acceptable and sometimes funny, many criticize Bethesda for releasing a game on the PS3 that would crash, slow down, and create frame rate issues when you went too long without saving. These issues range from gameplay problems like walking through walls to impossible quests, to some downright funny issues such as flying through the air endlessly when you're hit, or randomly dropping to the bottom of lakes while swimming, which would of course cause players to promptly drown. Perhaps the most interesting glitch that was found was the gold glitch that allowed players to collect an unlimited amount of gold. Sure, it sounds like a cheat, but if it wasn't intentionally put there by the developers, then my friends, we have a glitch. Overwatch. Blizzard has truly outdone themselves with its first IP in over 17 years. While globally hailed as a stunning piece of digital art, the May 2016 release of Overwatch was not without its mistakes. Despite its universal acclaim and overwhelmingly positive reception, there was one issue that tainted the release of this masterpiece. Initially, Blizzard had no plans of including a competitive mode, But after facing the wrath of millions of hardcore gamers, Blizzard promptly rushed to develop and integrate the mode into their game. Despite this, they weren't able to ship the game with a completed version of competitive play, and what could be considered an unpolished version had to be patched in over a month after its release. What did you think of our list? Are there any other games that had worse releases? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.